Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this live stream. Today we're going to be having a discussion with Brother Omar Farouk, who is a Uyghur from Chinese occupied East Turkestan. His daughters, his mother, many members of his family, they have been arrested in Chinese occupied East Turkestan, and he is trying to free his daughters, he's trying to free his family. And Arsalan is going to be speaking to him and conducting the interview for about 40 or so minutes, inshallah. So over to you, Arsalan. What we want to cover, obviously, is what's happening and definitely how we can help him. And if firstly you could give him my message that I'm really grateful that he's come forward for this interview. And, we want to help him in every way we can, inshallah.
Assalomu alaykum, Omar qarindishim. Boshda sizga rahmat aytaman. Mening kanalimga chiqib o'zingizning hikoyangizni, qizingizning hikoyangizni, oilangizning hikoyangizni anglatgangiz uchun va qo'limizdan kelishicha yordam qilishga tirishimiz va qanday yordamda bo'la olamiz uni tushuntirasiz. Birinchi savolimiz bo'lsa, o'zingizni bir qisqacha tushuntirsangiz, siz kim, vatandan qachon chiqdingiz degandek o'zingizni qisqacha tushuntirib, andan keyin oilangizning ahvoliga kirsak bo'ldi. So, brothers and sisters, I've just asked him first of all who he is, if you can quickly just introduce himself, and then we're going to get into the story of his family and what he's currently going through. Omar qarindishim, başla.
Ben Ömer Faruk, Türkiye Cumhuriyeti Garajdani. Ben hazır İstanbul'da yaşayman. Ben chet elga 2012 yili dadam bilan birga Saudiga chiqqan haj qilish uchun. Dastlabda dadam bu hajdan keyin u yerda vafot bo'lib ketdi. Madinada vafot bo'lib ketgandan keyin men u yerda jamiyat islomiyada o'qidim. Her yili ta'tilda vatanga tushdim. Eng oxirgi qatim 2016 chiqdim. Ta'til to'shtirib Saudiga chiqdim. Mening 4 qizim bordi. Vatanda ayolim vatandati. Shu ayolim Xitoy tarafdan pasport qilib kelgandan keyin 2016 yilda boshlab pasport qilishga boshladi. 2016 yil uyga kelgandan keyin ayolim menga 3 yil qilib pasport qilib kelibdi. 2 kundan keyin olib berimizda deb men u yerdan bilet eliblar. Ayolimni ikki qizimning pasporti yo'qdi. Shu ikki qizim qolib qoldi. Chunki u yerda Xitoyda 2 kundan ortiq bolalar pasport qilib bermaydi. O ikki qizimni keyin uydagilar avat bermoqchi. Shu ikki qizimni olib ayolim chiqdi. Aran chiqoldi. Chiqqandan keyin ikkimiz birlikda Turkiyaga kelib keldik. Men o'qishimni to'xtatib Turkiyaga kelib keldim. Shu ikkimiz ayolim chiqib bir qancha oy o'tgandan keyin butunlay aloqamiz uzilib qoldi.
Yani vatan bilan aloqa uzilib qoldi, shundaqmi?
Ha.
2017'da
2017'da tercüme qilyapsiz ya deb vermem.
Men yozyapman. Hozir men shuni tarjima qilib beray. Okay, brothers and sisters, Omar Farouk himself is currently he's a Turkish citizen. He initially left East Turkestan in 2012 with his father to go to Saudi Arabia to perform the Hajj. By Allah's will, his father passed away while he was in Saudi Arabia. He died in Medina. He was buried there. Omar continued to study in Saudi Arabia, and he would go back every summer to East Turkestan during the holidays up until 2016. And in 2016, when he went back to Saudi Arabia, and around the time of 2016, the CCP decided or was starting to round up passports. So they were taking the passports away from the Uyghurs. Now, Omar himself has 4 children, 4 daughters. And you guys know that there is a 2-child. You can only have 2 children. So the paperwork and the passports for his 2 children, for 2 of them were okay, and the other 2 were not. So when the authorities had visited his wife in about 2016, Omar told her, you know what, tell him I will give it to you guys in 2 or 3 days time. So at around that time, he made his way to Turkey. He bought plane tickets for his wife and the children that had the passports, but basically whoever had passports, he got him out, but he still has 2 daughters left in East Turkestan who are currently, I believe, I'm going to ask him now, but looks like they're being taken care of by their grandparents, but I'll confirm that now. Sizning hozir ikki qizingiz kimdan qarab o'tirdi?
Shu 2017'de aloqamiz 2016'nın oxiri uzildi. 2017'de men bir xabar aldım. Xabarda mening akıllarimning, ikki akamning inshoot qilatdi. Qurilishchi ikki akamni akir ketganligini, hatto andin qinonam bilan qinotamning akir ketganligini, saqchilarning kampga ketganligini qildim. Shu vaqtdan boshlab hech qanday bir aloqa qilmadim bolalarimni Xitoyga ko'tarib aketdim. Chunki u yerda men ayolim chiqqan vaqtda qinonamni uyga tashlab qo'ygan bolani. Ular bo'lmasa boqqadek adam yo'q hamda. Chunki balki Xitoy aketgan bo'lsa yoki boshqa yoki anglashlar xabarlar qaraganda 500 ming yaqin çocukni bolalarni Xitoy aketgan kamplarga. Balki men bolam bilmayman, hech qanday xabarim yo'q. 4 yil 1600 12 gün bo'ldi, qizlarimning hech bir ovozini anglab boqmadim.
Pardon, necha kun bo'ldi?
1610 gün bo'ldi qizim.
Okay.
Qizim Zoida Faruq va Zarifa Faruqda. Bular Turkiya Cumhuriyeti vatandaşı hozir.
Okay, so since 2017 we haven't had proper communication with our family, but when my wife had left our 2 children, they were left with my mother and father-in-law. However, in 2017, my 2 brothers who used to work in construction and my mother and my father-in-law were taken to the camps, and I don't know where my children are. And there is news that you may have seen in the news that there have been 500,000 kids taken into the orphanages, and I assume they are over there, but he is not quite sure where they are. And at the moment, his kids are also technically Turkish citizens.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Give our condolences for his father. So in terms of right now, what he's doing in Istanbul to free them, let us know the steps that he's taking and how we can support him in this, inshallah.
Məsələn, sizin qızlarınızı qutulduruz üçün yoki ailənizi qutulduruz üçün qaysı adım, qaysı yolunu minvatsız və biz bu haqda yardımcı bulalımdıq, destek bulalımdıq sizə.
Men şu hazır men dastlabda bolalarımning nupus chiqqandan keyin Turkiya davlatimizga başvurdum. Tashqi ishlar başvurgandan keyin 6 oy bo'ldi. 6 oydan oldin başvurgandan keyin davlatimizmi jiddiy qarab Beyjandagi büyük devletimizmi aloqalashib men bilan biz qurturimiz bolalarni deb shunday hozirgacha qildi. Ammo 6 oydan beri Xitoy taraf hech qanday bir xabar bermadi qizlarim to'g'riliq. Qizlarimni topamayotganimda ular kampaga ketganlikdan yo nima ish bo'ldi, Xitoylarmi javob beramayapti 6 oydan beri. Hech qanday bir javob bermayapti. Ular sürekli so'rayotdi Beyjandan, ammo Beyjan konsulluğu, Türkiye konsulluğu ama hozirgacha javob bermayapti. Shuning bilan men hozir shu guvoh berib butun dunyoning bir nimsini qo'zg'ab bir insonlikdan bir avval Allohdan insonlikdan so'rab bir achqa olaman deb hozir shu sosyal medyada kuchayapman. Bir tarafdan Turkiya davlatimizga murojaat yozib kuchayapman. Qolganini inşallah Allah sağlık versin açık olamayman deb qo'yapman. Ammo muhimi hozir qizimning nadin tilamayapmiz. Turkiya davlatim qiladi ammo hech narsa bilmadik, topamayapmiz.
So he's saying, for the past 6 months, he's been in contact with the foreign ministry in Turkey. They are taking it seriously. They've been in communication with Beijing and with the consulate there. They've said to him they'll get back to him once they find news, but there doesn't seem to be any news coming through as to the whereabouts of he doesn't know where his daughters are, and it's been more than 1,000 days. He hasn't had contact with his own daughters. So at the moment, he's just giving witness testimonies where he can, talking to the media, going on social media. Anywhere there's protests, you may have seen him holding up signs and giving speeches, 1-minute videos, 2-minute videos. So he's doing that at the moment. But yeah, so just going through that cycle of, going official way, social media, and talking to the authorities in China.
His daughters are Turkish citizens. Is that right?
Yes.
So technically, we could say the Chinese government is holding Turkish citizens against their will, against the will of the father.
Yes.
Is that the current stance? Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just that, like even just for the people in general. Right now, I believe the last numbers were around 200, anywhere between 1 and 200 Turkish citizens in the camps themselves, adults even. So this is not just a one-off.
And in terms of the reception of the Turkish government to his request, I mean, we're hearing all sorts of different news about what's been happening with the Uyghurs in Turkey. But what is the reception been? If you can give some details about that.
Okay, brother, we have to be very sensitive when we ask questions about.
Okay, that's fine. But I mean, they're processing it. They're processing.
Yeah.
Okay, they're processing it. Okay, that's fine. And I want to ask him, as Muslims, and we are all Muslims, and the Muslim is a brother of another Muslim. How does he feel the reaction of the general Muslim world has been when it comes to the Uyghur issue? I mean, we're not asking about the Turkish government; we're just asking generally.
Yeah.
And what's his message to the masses of Muslims who are watching right now?
Bilsiz Ömer kardeşim Müslümanın bir kardeşidir. Umumiy yüz qaragan çağda Müslüman dünyası qandaq pozisiyada bo'latıdı ve Müslüman dünyasıga sizning bir mesajınız, sizning bir sözünüz, sizning bir gepingiz barmı, fikriniz barmı?
Hozir bizning ko'nglimizni yerim qilgani bir minut.
Hech qisi yo'q. So yeah. For now, let's go through some of the comments when he come. Okay, we got him back. Devam qiling kardeşim.
Ko'nglimiz shu hozir pek yerim qilgani bu bizga hozir g'arb davlatlarining ovoz chiqarishi shunda ko'nglimni yerim qildi. Asli bizga diniy qarindoshlarimiz bo'lgan qarindoshlarimiz ovoz bersa to'g'ri bo'ladi aslida. Bu ko'nglimni pek og'irtdi. Butun dunyo hozir shunday bo'lib qoldi. Hozir Xitoy dunyoda hech bir o'qishi bo'lmagan bir zulmni qilyapti bizga. O'ylab beqing, bu mening qizim, bu suratdagi mening onam, 67 yoshdagi onam. Onam az 4 yil bo'ldi onamning ovozini olib baqdim. Hatto hayotda o'lib niqini bilmayman, hayotda o'g'ini bilmayman. Chunki onam men ayrılgan vaqtda nima o'rindiqda palash qilib qolgan o'ltirib. Hech ma'lumot, aqllarim qaraydi. Hozir akamni turma akirib ketgandiki, onam kim qarab qoldi, hayotdami hech qanday xabarim yo'q. Dunyoda bundan bir ortiq bir zulm yo'q. Masalan, nimalarda Suriyada urush bo'laydi, Falastinda bo'laydi, ammo ular o'zining ibodatini qila oladi, oilasini aloqa qila oladi. Ammo biz bo'lsak, mushunchalar bir 21 asr ilg'or bir vaqt yashayapmiz. Bizning telefonlarimiz, vatanimiz ulanmaydi. Ash bir holatda. Şu mening bizga chiqib bizning o'qishimiz hech qanday bir zulm yo'q. Ammo mushundolar zulmni ko'rib turib, bu islom davlatlarining musulmonlarning sukut turishi mening haqiqatan yuragimni bek og'irtdi. Bu biz Uyg'ur musulmonlarning yuragini bek og'irtdi. nima deymiz hamda hali oxirat bor ekan. Biz Uyg'ur musulmon bo'lish bilan qarindoshim deymanki, biz bu zulmni ko'rib bu o'tib ketamiz inshaalloh. Ammo ovoz bermagan musulmon qarindoshlarimiz, islom davlatlarimiz Allohning oldida nima deb javob berashlar. Shu bizning musulmonni ko'rib turib, anglab turib, sukut qilganlikdan oxiratda qanday bir nimasini berib bo'lar Allohning oldida deb shuni o'ylayman. Biz qiynalsak o'tib ketamiz. Bu zulmda oilamiz u yerdagilar u yerda, biz bu yerda qiynalib Allah nima deymiz endi boshqa degan gap topolmadim.
So he says it's very sad because right now predominantly the West is speaking for us, whereas we've always expected or we wanted the Muslims, our fellow Muslims, to speak for us, and this is very sad and disheartening. This is my mum. She is 67 years old. When I had left, she was already in a sort of like a paralyzed state. She was in a wheelchair. Places like Syria and Palestine, they are under oppression as well, but not to the extent that we are. That they can still live their lives quite freely compared to us. But thank God for an akhirah. There is an hereafter, and we'll go through this oppression one way or another. But I'm quite interested to see how, especially the leaders and governments of the Muslim world, will answer to Allah on that day.
Yeah, and you can definitely see that the oppression in Chinese-occupied East Turkestan is far greater in magnitude. This is for everybody watching, and we've been saying this for some time. Sometimes in the comment section, people say, "Well, why don't you talk about Kashmir? Why don't you talk about other places?" Well, firstly, there is literally no comparison between Kashmir and Syria and Yemen and Chinese-occupied East Turkestan. There is no comparison. We're talking about a different level of oppression. Being killed is a blessing when you compare it to what these people are going through. So firstly, if you can just convey from me what I said, that I totally agree, and we totally agree that you cannot compare what's happening in Chinese-occupied East Turkestan to any oppression that's happened to the Muslims for the past 100 years.
Ömer deydi, men Ömer san qidlime. Bütün dünyada zulüm var, lekin Şarkı Türkistan'dek o zulüm bu mümkün emas, seliştirgil bolmaydı ve qarindoshlarimiz to'g'ri tushunishi kerak. Ham yer zulüm var, Yemen'de var, u yerda var, bu yerda var, lekin Şarkı Türkistan'daki zulüm o bamboshqa bir narsa, selishtirgil bolmaydi deb mushu gapni sizga iletkisi bor. Do you have a question, Brother Subur?
Yeah, I wanted to go through his link to East Turkestan. So where is he from? What was his sort of life like, before this 2016 oppression? What was the state of Islam that he encountered in terms of when he was young? Was he allowed to go to the madrasa? Of course, may Allah bless his father, Rahimullah, who took him to Medina to study. But what was it like? Because we want to know, is it just a 2016 thing, or how long has this been going on? So some details in regards to that.
Deydi, endi siz bevosita siz yashagan umumyuzlik zulmni anglasin. Mesela 2012'da Arabistan'a bardınız, lekin kichik vaqtingizdan tortib sizning hayotingiz qandaqdi? Yoki bu zulm faqat 2016'da boshladimi? Siz azroq Xitoy tarafidan ko'rgan bir hayotingizni siz nima ishlar bilan shug'ullandingiz degandek tushuntirib bersangiz.
Bu zulm biz kichik vaqtdan tortib bordi. Demek kichik vaqtimda dadam deb berdi, bizning cho'ng dadamni Xitoylar esib o'ltirib ekan. Ishiltib, pomchik deb esib o'ltirib ekan. Dadam cho'nglar deb berdi, bitta zulmni qildi, biz hikoyanglarni anglab ekanmiz. Bunda bo'lmaydi-ku deb o'ylab ekanmiz. Ammo biz cho'ng maktabda o'qib qolgandan keyin aloqa 2016'da başladı, 2014'te başladı. Ama onun burunda bakarak dindar ailelerni Balla o'qitganında o ailəni tutatdı. Bu yılda yılğa çıngıp mağdı. 2014'te bekçan. 2016'da pelleyi çıktı hem de. 2014-15'de Xitay bağın çağdıma yaman çıngıtı hem de. Bizning aile hem de bir ticari aile olgan ki bir atışık Allah'ını kılmaydı pek. Asasen namazını kılıp başka ne kılmagan ki. Ama azraqla balla o'qitib qo'ygan dinleydi. Başqa bir ishlar bo'lgan bo'lsa asosan bek chiqdi shu vaqtda. Ama 2016'dan keyin bo'lsa bütün Uyg'urlarga og'ir zulmlar bo'ldi. Hatto uyda jaynamaz saqlayolmaydigan holatga keldi hamda. Assalomu alaykum va rahmatulloh deb salom berolmaydigan holatga yetdi. Shu vaqtda 2016 to'plam kampga olgan vaqtida shu kishilarni 10 yil 15 yilning oldida bunda bir yig'ilib Qur'on o'qib qo'ygan yoki bir ash sabablardan kesib o'tgan 10 yil 15 yil kesib o'tgan bir arab tili o'rganib qo'yganga 10 yil 15 yil kesib o'tgan xabarni angladik. Qilib bu zulm hiçbir zaman to'xtab qolmadi, ama 2016'dan boshlab og'ir holatda bir so'yiq irqiy qirg'inchilik holatiga o'tdi bu. Asosan Uyg'urlar bo'lsa, mayli burun men degandek dinli insonlarni qilgan bo'lsa 2016 boshlab asos Uyg'urlar bo'lsa, millatchi bo'lsa, bütün hammasini baylarni meni akamning shirkati ishlaydigan bir xanzor dedi aloqalashgan vaqtimda sening akamga o'xshash mening akamning bir 100 million dollardan ortiq mol mulki bor deb qurilish bütün hammasini musodara qilib akamga o'xshash baylarni hech kimni qo'ymadi. Xitoylar shu asosan dastlabki vaqtda 2016 vaqtda asosan baylarni, diniy olimlarni, ziyolilarni qilib 2018dan keyin asosan azroq bir jamiyat azroq bir aqli bor dini millatin degan insonlarni ishkisini qo'ymoqda.
Mesela senin küçük vaxtında deyman, şu kamplardan burun, senin küçük vaxtında kemsitiş bo'lsin, har qanday bir bunday şekilde sen bevosita yaşagan şu küçük vaqtlaringdagi deyman.
Men bevosita yaşagan 2011'da 2011'da Ramazan vaqtida men Xitoyda yetib chiqdim, uchoqcha pul xarjlab chiqib oldi. Ramazan vaqtida ayollarni mashqga qo'ymaydi. Ramazan vaqtida. Mening navri ukam xatmida tug'an qari. Mening cho'ng onam men shu tamam bo'lgan kuni bir anglasa masjidda qeyri cho'ng onam hamda yezida. Degandan keyin shu kirgil qo'ymaydi. Shunaqdan bir sinab aqil deb cho'ng onamni bir qeyri ayol bo'lgan ekan deb akeldim, masjidga akelsin. Bir nechisi mashinada saqlab turibdi ekan, saqchi emas, hamda shu qaraydiganlar. Shu akirsangiz bo'lmaydi dedi. Bu navrisining bir ovozini anglab oldi ekan, Qur'onni bir oxir işte bo'lmas deb ular bilan men gap talashib ishni qilinglar deb akirib ketdim. Shu akirib biz tamomini qilib bo'lguncha saqchi saqlab turibdi. Meni saqchixon ketdi. Men ishga oqshom yetib qoldim. Shu vaqtda necha pul xarjlab chiqib olgan bo'lsa, meni kesib yetdi. Degan o'yin kesib yetdi. U vaqtda azroq yo'l bo'lgan ekan, akamning ash darajada hamda. Men o'zim uchragan bir misol hamda.
So in 2011 during the month of Ramadan, his cousin, which he's a hafiz, and it was on the night of somewhere around Laylatul Qadr, like 27, the last few days of Ramadan, where they were gonna make the Quran like tamam, like read it all. And so the grandmother wanted to, 2000 women in 2011, not just 2011, but women are not allowed in the mosque ever. 2011, men could go to the mosque, but it was still very heavily with security, but you can go to the mosque. She wanted to go to the mosque to hear her own grandson recite the Quran. And upon leaving the mosque, Omar himself, he was arrested by the police. He was taken to jail, and through Omar's family's connections and through a very heavy bribe, he was let go. But he says if it wasn't for that bribe, they would have sentenced me to quite a number of years. And this is what happened in 2011. Just for bringing his grandmother to listen to the grandson recite some Quran in the mosque.
This goes to show you that the real problem is not with the Uyghurs. The real problem is with al-Islam. That is the real crux of the issue here. So back in 2011, if somebody wanted to, be a practicing Muslim, then it was possible, but there was restrictions, right?
Yeah.
So there was still some level of possibility. But in terms of the atmosphere, what was the atmosphere like? Was it always that you're being watched, that you need to be careful? Or was it that, only if you do certain things, then you'll get into trouble? Like how did it work exactly?
In 2011?
Yeah.
Okay. Deydi mesela bugünkü kunlikda mumkin emas bu masjidga kirish. Lekin mesela 2010, 11, 12, 13'lerde mesela kiralaytdingiz, namozingizni o'qib chiqalaytdingiz degandek. Lekin shu chog'dagi masalan shu chog'da nima deymiz, atmosfer deymiz, shu chog'dagi havo, shu chog'dagi bism, u chog'dagi kunlik hayot hozirda o'xshamaydi, lekin u 2011da qandaqdi masalan?
2011'da biz üzemden ailesinden ve benim beşim kemigenki yaxşı değmende hem de o vakitte ama nurgul insanlar turma akırıp durdu ama bizden aile bizden beşimiz kemigenki es qilmabdi ekanmiz.
Şunu sormoqchi, ya'ni nima uchun sening oilang kamida boshqalarga keldi? Ya'ni farqinlar nimitdi? Masalan, sizlarmi namoz o'qiydigan bir oila, masjidga boradigan oila, lekin boshqa oila bilan farqinlar nimitdi?
Men farqimiz bo'lsa, pek dikkat qildik bizning ailemde. Xitoyga qarshi bir ish bo'lib qolamiz, oilam bo'lsin, aqlim shunaqa dikkat qiladi. Huquqchilik, diniy huquqchi yo'q demasan, o tijoratchi oila bo'lgan ekan. Men bo'lsa nimada o'qiydim Saudiyada. O Saud chet elda bo'lgan kun uni bekni qilmaydi. Pek dikkat qildik. O'zimizning beşiq kambag'alga hech qilmabdi ekan. Shu vaqtda uni tutib, buni tutib anglaydik deb bir şu vaqtim chiqdimda, ama bizim ailemden beşiq kambag'alga hech qilmabdi ekan. Men shu 2017 oilam beşiq kelgandan keyin hech qildim.
So he's saying generally speaking, he was saying that he would hear about other Uyghurs being taken away, and we've had this conversation before as well, where at that time, unless you were like running a madrasa and you were sending your kids to those underground madrasas and you were studying in unofficial places, that those were, that was a big red flag for the Chinese government. It's not to the extent where, you know how we talk about these little things like saying salam alaikum. No, it wasn't that sensitive. Back then, normally you could just go, do your prayers, and you could, he didn't say this, I'm paraphrasing, and you could do like basic, you could still fast to an extent. We never felt anything. We used to just, we're a business family and we used to just deal with business. We'd never really felt it, but it was those families that took it just a little too far, giving dawah to people and, running madrasas and things like this. But it wasn't until 2016 and 17 that everyone willy-nilly, whether you practiced or not, simply for being a Uyghur, you were being taken in.
And in regards to because he got whiff that things are going to get bad, so he decided to take his family out. What was the last sort of communication that he had? Because obviously he was talking to his family, he was taking care of his two daughters. How did he find out that, okay, that's it, I can't contact anybody, I don't know what's I don't want him to tell us how he obviously communicated, but was there something like the Chinese police turned up and then he gets a message from them saying, look, they keep asking questions, where are you? Obviously don't give away too much, but when did the communication stop and what happened?
Dedingizki masalan aloqa uzildi. Qanday shaklda aloqa uzildi? Masalan deydi. Birisi biz bilan ortiq aloqa qilishma dedimi yoki bo'lmasa urib aloqa qila olmadingizmi? Ya'ni nima sababdan aloqa uzildi? Agar deyalsangiz.
2016'dan başlap asasen bütün Uygurlarla yurtdışındaki chet eldeki Uygurlarla aloqalashganlarni yaman ching tutdi. Yani o şu vaqtda asasen Xitoyda WhatsApp o başka hech qanday nemin ishlamaydi. Facebook'un nemini faqat Xitoyning o'zining WeChat bir narsa bor. Shuni judechu hammasi yuvatgandan keyin hatta mening o'yinchilarimni hozir falan ashmay turib bek shamol chiqib ketdi deb yuvatdi meni. Keyin paranglashayapti deb. Keyin shundan kelib ular ish kelib qolmasin deb men yuvatdim o'zimdan keyin. Keyin qachilmadi. Keyin xabarni oldim tutib ketgan degan. Keyin qanday bir ish bir telefon qilib qo'ydim. Telefon qilsam u bütün o'yinchilarimning hammasining nomeri etik. Urug' tuqqanlarimning hammasi etik nomerlari. Qolgan aloqalash WeChat'ni qilsam boshqa urug' tuqqanlarim hammasi yuvatdi qo'tmoq. Qo'qaydida u yerga shu nurg'un Uyg'urlar shu hozir shu hammasi yuvatdi WeChat'ni qo'qab aloqa qilganlarni hammasini olib chet elda aloqa qilsan deb so'rab qo'yayotgan ekan, hammasi qo'qab ketib aloqa qilmaydigan gap.
So initially there was some news in the media saying that Uyghurs should not be getting into contact with their family on the outside because it was very dangerous. And when he went on WeChat, he realized that people on who he would normally get in contact with started blocking him. And so he blocked them. And so he just stopped using WeChat altogether. Then he started calling the numbers directly, like doing international calls, and no one would pick up. And so it was then he realized that, okay, I've lost my communication. That's how it started, and that's how it ended.
Right. And in regards to obviously his mother, and she's 67, and you know the health, and then the brothers as well. Is there anything he knows about charges against them? Particular claims that the government, because sometimes the Chinese government, as it does, it just makes up some charges or whatever, terrorism, extremism, whatever. What have they said? Have they actually said why they've been arrested?
Xitoy tarafidan sizning qarindoshlarınız bo'lsin yoki bo'lmasa onangiz bo'lsin, har qanday bir rasmiy maqomdan, ya'ni shu sababdan tufayli tutdik, shu qadar kasdik degandek bir rasmiy bir ochiqlama berdimi sizga?
Yo'q, hech qanday men Xitoy konsullig'iga qildim. Talab qilsam nimani javob bermadi, mail atdim, hech qanday bir javob bermadi. Şu o Xitoydan bizga javob bermadi. Vatan turib, vatanda ko'rib tuqqanlar hamda Xitoyni aktiv qilib qolsa, so'ramaydi. So'rashma bir Xitoyga nisbatan bir jinoyat va biz urug' tuqqanlarimiz masalan nima tutding deb ular shu turmada o'zlari sotni kesiblar, manchilanchi yil deblar, kesib o'tirgan. Rasmiy xabarlarimda bir anglab qolgan xabarlarimda bundan ama rasmiy emas. 25 yıl bırakamda 15 yıl kesib o'tgan işte bir xabar bor, ama rasmiy aniq emas xabar. Ama turmadagi aniqkan turma aktivdi.
He says no. Nothing official from the Chinese government. We have asked many times. We have tried to get in contact from the outside. They haven't answered, and those on the inside wouldn't dare to ask that question. Yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of obviously Muslims are brothers of other Muslims, and we're all one family. So the people who are watching right now, and anybody else who watches this live stream later on, what can we do to help Omar? How can we support him? I mean, obviously, he's doing everything he can, but how can we amplify those efforts, inshallah?
Ömer kardeşim, sen kulağından kelişçe nurgun işlerini kıvatsa, miyadımı bir sürü körüvatkan körümenler var. Yani taleplerin yemi biz kanda yardımcı bulalayımız. Ya ki bulmasa bunu kim körüganlar mı kanda kısa sana yardımcı bulalaydı. tavsiyelerin var mı diyeyim.
Rahmet kardeşim de Allah razı olsun. Mening talabim avval şu bütün şunu anlayatgan qarindoshlarımızdan so'raydiganim eng avval manga ve Uyg'ur xalqi duo qilib qo'ysin. Shu Allah'ın bergen sınaqlardan Allah razı olgan holatda o'tib Allohga Allah razı olgan holatda ko'rishimni nisbat qilishni duo qilsin. Ondan ikinchilab birinchilab bu nima? İkincilab shu bizning ovozimizni bu bizning haqiqat hech qanday bizning bu so'zlarga hech bir yolg'onchilik yo'q. İmanımız bilan deymiz. Bu gerçeklerini bütün Müslümanlar tarqitib, anlatib, mening Twitter adresim var. Şu ovozlarimni bir anlatib dunyoga qo'shishni so'rayman.
So they're saying okay. Brother, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share Brother Omar's Twitter. Yeah. Ben hazır sizin hesabınızdaki yemini çıkarıp koyayım ya. So he said, make lots of dua for me. You know, spread the news. Like what we are saying is not fake news. I'm a real person, and this is actually happening to me. You know, share whatever I put out there. I'm actually going to pop up his profile, his account here. If everyone can start following him, and just you know, alhamdulillah, you know, this day and age, you know, he generally tweets in Turkish, but if you just hit translate tweet and just you know, it does that for you. So I'm going to share that. If you can put it on the screen, Brother Sabur.
Yeah,
there we go.
I see it.
Yeah. So those are the sort of hashtags that he uses. If you can help use those hashtags, and seriously, it just says in Turkish, "Where is my family? Where are my daughters?" Quite simple. And to this day, the Chinese government or no other authorities can't even tell him where his own daughters are. You know, let alone trying to you know, hide and cover up a genocide. So, yeah.
Jazakallah for that. So I'd like him to just give any last message. Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost you. Either it's my internet or your internet. It cut out a little bit. So if you could just ask him for one last message that I want. Who have come forward.
I sort of got half your question, but that's okay. Kardeşim deydi, en ahırkı sözleriniz var mı?
Yok, başka sözlerim yok.
Okay. Köp rahmet sizge. Okay, brothers and sisters, it seems there seems to be a sort of connection problem, but I just want to, as you've heard, make sure you guys share this message. That seems to be all we can do at the moment. Get this out there. We have a father longing for his two daughters. Haven't seen them in more than 1,000 days. And, you know, with a little bit of your help through social media, as you've seen in recent days, China is really piling down on the pressure that's happening to them, and the pressure is working, where we've gotten to a stage where, you know, China is telling its citizens to boycott goods, and so then they're really, really feeling the pressure. And this is just one of thousands of stories out there of missing children, separated families, and, you know, with a click of a button, you could do so much difference. We need to work together on this.
Yeah. So Jazakallah khair. We're having some slight internet issues, so it's a good time to end as well. If you can give him, from myself, Assalamu alaikum, and also just really thank him immensely. I'm very grateful that he's come on board. And inshallah, the next time that I'm in Istanbul, I definitely want to meet him and help him physically with the protests and do everything I can, and everything that everybody's watching online, they also are going to do everything they can to support our brother Omar, inshallah, in his fight for his family.
Assalamu alaikum Ömer kardeşim. Ben inşallah yana bir İstanbul'a bağınımda sizle görüşüme qo'limdan kelishi yardım qilaman, namoyish qilamdi fiziki jihatdan. Ya'ni men shu ko'rishib qanday yordamchi bo'la olaymiz, shu chog'da ko'rishganda deyishamiz degandek gaplar bilan oxirlashdi.
Qarşılamız Allah razı olsun kardeşimizden bizden çağrısız avazımızı anlatışı yardımcı olmak için Allah köp ecirlerini versin. Qarşılamız her vakit aldığı çıkamaz inşallah.
He says, we look forward to you coming, and he says, Jazakallah khair for that, for your comments.
Wa iyak. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And Arsalan, you're going to be live. Do you want to speak what channel it's going to be?
So, brothers and sisters, if you tune into TRT World in about 10 minutes or so, I'll be live there talking about the Chinese sanctions on UK MPs and what's been happening with H&M and Nike and other goods, the current sort of propaganda that China is using against those brands. So I'll see you there in 10 minutes, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you, brother Umar and brother Arsalan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.